Most all of the F1 teams have agreed on a new sprint format, and we've heard that you were somewhat of the brainchild behind that idea. Why is it time to change the sprint format?
I think the time to change the sprint format is this the practice session on Saturday morning. It was just like, if I didn't want to watch it, to be honest, because it was just like, I mean, there's nothing happening. Yeah, you can test the tires, but you cannot set the car up anymore. You cannot touch it anymore. So you're just going really in circles without learning anything and not giving any excitement to the fans. And we are here to race for the fans and not to go in circles when we don't even enjoy it anymore, you know. So I'm just speaking casually with Stefano. I said, maybe we should try to do something different to make it competitive. And Stefano for sure wants to do that one as well, because his job is to make the sport attractive for the fans, not for ourselves. So, and it started there a little bit. And then hopefully we can bring it over the line already for Baku.
I think we need to lean more into the fact that this was your idea, Guenther. I think it needs to be Steiner qualifying or something. No. I think
don't start with that one, Nate, please.
But just on that, because that's fascinating in itself. In terms of those meetings that we talked about, in terms of bringing an idea forward like that, do you go to Stefano first and then pitch to the teams, or do you kind of float it with the teams and see kind of what the temperature of the room is? How do you? Because there's so many different kind of egos. There's so many different people with different agendas. How do you kind of bring an idea like that to the table? And actually, do you have to kind of make concessions to some people and say, okay, we won't do this, but maybe this is the main idea? Talk us through kind of how the pitch went, I guess.
No, this is you need to make sure that you've got somebody who tells you that it isn't a complete stupid idea, because then you don't want to bring it forward, you know. Yeah. So first make sure about that one, you know. So because, you know, sometimes I can come up with pretty stupid ideas as well, you know. So and this one, just as I said, casually speaking with Stefano, because I mean, Stefano, we are pretty good friends, you know, Stefano and me. So it's just a casual talk, and what is right and what is wrong. That doesn't need to be the emphasis of how can we do better. It just came out like this, and I think it got legs, you know. And I then said it to the press at some stage, because maybe I was a little bit frustrated after a FP3 or whatever you want to call it, the Saturday morning session on a sprint qualifying weekend, and I just throw it out like this, and somebody picked it up, and then it got legs all of a sudden, you know. So, but then obviously it's not my job to make the show better. It's FOM's and Stefano's. But if I think Stefano is open to anybody, not only me, to anybody in the world, if they have to add something which can make the show better, to bring it forward.
When it was presented to the team bosses, was it well received, or was there pushback from some?
I think how that works is normally everybody's like not commenting, thinking about it, a little bit of the content. There will be never a big no, and never a big hooray, let's go and do it. You know, there's always, you know, a lot of undecisive thoughts is something new, and then but I think when Stefano explained why it should be done, I think nobody was against
it. Christian said in Australia that it was ludicrous to have the first sprint weekend in Baku because of the nature of that track. How concerned are you about a big repair bill at the end of that weekend?
I think we're all a little bit concerned, but that gives excitement to the sport as well again, you know, and it's down to everybody's having the same risk. You know, I always say nobody's singled out there, you know, and Christian actually is in a good place, because normally his car starts in the front. So his risk is less that his car get involved in an accident. So it's more us guys, but it's part of the sport, and we cannot always predict anything negative to a single team happening. I mean, I think Alpine didn't want that accident at the restart in Melbourne. You know, they were not counting on that one, but it happened to them in Melbourne. I mean, we had a lot of accidents last year. It just happens, you know, and it's part of the sport. And if we try to avoid everything unexpected, it gets boring pretty quick.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.